What up, guys and girls? Another brand new video coming at you today. Yes, we are back again for another round of AOR Oceania for season number 3. We're here for the penultimate round here, round number 20 that is, here at the Brazilian Grand Prix. As we're going to have a look here at the championship standings. 14 points is the gap between New Zealand, Ryan and Greek. We're currently P9 in the championship, 11 points behind. Williams have wrapped up the Constructors' Championship, 103 points clear of Ferrari, and of course Haas currently P7. So yeah, pretty much this is sort of, you could say maybe a championship race, because obviously it's close between those guys. 14 points, and probably like I mentioned in the previous one around Mexico, there is a possibility that the Drivers' Championship could be wrapped up this weekend. I mean, it'd have to be a miracle to have it happen, or otherwise it would go to the finale at Abu Dhabi the next time out. But of course, the only thing that Ryan needs to do is outscore Greek by 12 points or less. I mean, he could do it at 11 points or less, but I think he wants to get at least a 12-point gap to sort of make sure that it's really safe. Anyway, to wrap up, what will be his third crown in AOR Oceania, which is an incredible effort anyway, considering the amount of pressure that he's been under this whole season. It's probably the first season that he's been under a lot of pressure compared to the first two seasons. Sorry to anybody who, of course, who was fighting him in the championship back those couple of seasons ago. But you saw then on our first run there, we did invalidate our lap time up at turn 6. So yeah, that pretty much ruined that lap, unfortunately. But I did fill up the car. I usually do for the first couple of runs anyway. Fill up the car for a couple of laps anyway of fuel, as Ben's obviously gets out of the way, so he's obviously completed the lap. Greek's already set the first marker here at the moment, as we get a nice bit of slipstream there from him for this lap. So doing a bit 2 runs here on the slips on tyres, but just turning a little bit too early coming into turn 3, not turn 3, turn 4 I should say. So and that's pretty much the point where I decided to pretty much abort this lap and just go out and go at another set of tyres. So obviously, after what was it was definitely a decent race at in the SRL side of things. So I felt pretty confident.
So far, our fastest lap is a 1:16.1.
Yeah, ignore that lap time. That's just pretty much an invalidated lap time, so it means nothing really. So it definitely will improve a bit later on. But obviously, you see now Ryan has got the second punch back, you could say. That sounded a bit weird. I'm a bit all over the place with voiceovers recently, but he's fired back, let's put it that way, over Greek. He's now at the top of the timesheets at the current moment. Of course, there's still about 12 minutes remaining. But like I was saying, felt pretty confident about the pace-wise around here. I mean, yes, I probably got a bit lucky in the SRL race especially, but I was feeling a hell of a lot confident for this round especially. And considering where we are in the points-wise, we're only about 11 points behind Mars Berserk here. So like I said, I'd like to maybe gain a few more points back on him this weekend, so maybe we could have a shot at maybe getting 8th in the championship in the finale at Abu Dhabi. That's if we get a decent amount of points for this round, as we're just getting out of everybody's road here, not doing anything silly here. But the game has decided to do other ideas and invalidate this one in the next lap, which was yeah, a little bit interesting to say the least. But as you can see there, obviously I did do the lap time, and can't exactly remember what I did there on that second run there, as you saw. But I did do 2 runs actually on this tyre, I believe. I could be, I may be completely wrong, but this was actually my fastest around the Brazilian track. So here we go, now through turn 3. Much better run there. Just a little bit of a catch of the oversteer there on the exit of the curb, which did catch me out a little bit in SRL, but managed to just get away from it. Now up the hill we go, up into turn 8. Gonna take a nice tight line there to the apex, and just lose the back end a little bit through there, so just missed the apex going into turn 9. Now up we go into turn 10. It's a tricky braking point around here, because you could easily lock up around there, but we get through comfortably. Now coming through the long flowing turn 11 down the hill pretty much, and then just missed my apex a little bit there. Actually locked the brake coming into turn 12 there, as you saw, but we're definitely improving the lap time as we speak at the current moment. So we're going to see it come across the line. Actually go up into P6 for that lap, and I was actually bluffing a little bit there because that was not actually my fastest lap. I just decided to show you that lap just to show you what sort of pace I've got at the moment. But you can see just getting off the road there, that's actually Greek. I think he's on a flyer at the moment, so I decided to just get him at his road because I don't really want to argue with the guys up in front, especially for the guys that are fighting for the championship especially. So just going to do my own race and hopefully get another decent result out of it. But we're going to get on another set of super soft tyres.
So far, our fastest lap is a 1 minute 7.7.
You see where that puts us at the moment. It's currently P6 at the moment. We did have a little bit of a lower grid as well. We're missing a couple of people for this round. My teammate was missing for this one. Can't remember exactly what was going on, whether he's still having internet issues or what. But probably one big name that you're not seeing there is DRC Jarrett. And if you remember back to the previous video around Mexico, you will.
Just 30 seconds
I
left
did
in the session.
mention that he did say some explicit comments that he made during the podium interviews last week. And the word I got was before this race, I was wondering why he wasn't here. The word I got was that he was actually given a race ban for this, and personally I ain't surprised about that one because, like I said before, I don't really want to dwell on what happened in the podium interviews, but what Jared said was disgusting. He should learn from it, and hopefully he does, and we'll probably catch him next time around Abu Dhabi. But we're on here now for the final lap around Brazil. As you can see here, we're currently a little bit down at the moment through for sector 1 there. We're way down a little bit here, about 2.5 tenths of a second here. But I knew I could gain time a little bit through, especially through maybe a little bit through sector 2, because I know I could definitely improve around sector 2 and mainly a bit as well around sector 3, especially this turn 12 that we're just about to come up to now. You see just literally hanging off a dear life through there. We have a much better run through there. Got the apex this time around. We're down about 2/100s as Greek now goes provisional pole for the time being. So it's definitely going to be on between the two championship contenders up front. But let's see where this lap puts us as we come across the line. We are going to improve. We do jump up into P5 there with a 107.629, I believe that was. And thankfully, as we're about to see in a second, it pretty much it stayed there pretty much, so not many improved there. So you saw Greek is on pole with a 106.566, and there's nothing between the top two, but just a bit over a tenth between he and New Zealand Ryan. So this championship is really going to go down to the wire. There's a few other guys there as well. Warden, HO, then you got Neon, fans. Alan Hugo's racing this weekend as well, and also DLT Gamble. But it's time to go racing for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Alrighty, welcome to the grid for the penultimate round here at the Brazilian Grand Prix under perfect clear skies. Race strategy wise, I'm pretty much going to do the similar strategy what I did in SRL, just probably go to about lap 13 I think it is, then jump on the medium tyres and pretty much do the one stop here. Now, you probably would have seen the graphic earlier on at the start of this video. You saw last season's race results had Fens winning from Greek and Ryan, so Greek has got a little bit of an advantage on Ryan for this race, but I mean, anything's possible here. Knowing the pace that Ryan had in SRL, anything is possible here as we get set now for the formation lap.
Right, let's get the car up to temperature on this lap. We're learning the gears, so go through them all if you can.
So it's literally even Stevens now between these two especially, so but pretty much like I mentioned earlier, we're just going to do our own race here. I mean, we're guaranteed points anyway with only 9 runners for this race, so we're just going to have to wait and see whether the these two race hard to the end, or whether there's going to be chaos in the turn one, who knows? We're about to find out anyway, as we just wait for Alan Hugo's car to get itself onto the grid, as it does right about now, I think. Just waiting as well for, yeah, there we go. Now we're all set here to go for the penultimate round, round 20 in Brazil. 5 red lights. Very long hole, but let's do it around Brazil. It's a pretty decent start, actually. Greek didn't seem to have the best start of the year as well. Water's going to go around the outside. Ryan's going to dive on the inside, and Greek's been spun into turn 1. We narrowly avoid getting wing damage from that somehow. There's nearly 2 races in a row that I've managed to avoid a car that's been, well, got spun around, but we do lose a spot, actually. Well, you can say we lose a spot, but we're still in the same position we started. So Neon battling away here for position 4. So he's obviously got a great start, up a couple of spots there, but I don't think it's been a great start at all for Greek. He's way down the field. You can see that light blue dot there. He's literally just coming into nearly the second sector, coming up into turn 6, I think it is right about now. So, you can, as we come a bit further on later in the lap, I should say, as there goes the 50-metre board. I think you'll find it was actually Ryan that decided to destroy that 50-metre board. So, cheers for that, Ryan. That's pretty much where my braking marker was for that one. But as we get our first warning of the race on lap 2, and both the Williams are actually in the pit lane on lap 2. So it's dramas all round for the Williams boys. Thank God they actually wrapped up the Constructors' Championship last time out in Mexico, because that probably would not have ended badly. It could have ended badly for them if they lost the Constructors. It probably was harder, like I mentioned. But as we get on to lap 3 now, we'll just chase after Neon Trito. We just grab the curb coming off the exit of turn 2 there. We spin the car, and obviously we lose a couple of spots there. So yeah, that's really lost us a bit of momentum coming out of those couple of corners there. So now just really just going to get my head back down and try and catch up to the guys back in front. Let's have a bit of a replay here from the slow-mo. You can see took the curb normally, but just lost the back end just coming out of the corner. I think nearly the curb pretty much finished me off there. So let's have a look at some replays.
As the drivers are looking to the 5 red lights here for the Brazilian Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go with Greek Master on pole, and it looks like it's a decent start from New Zealand Ryan as well. Is he going to try and dive into turn 1? He's going to go for it there, and there's contact. Water. He's spun round, Greek spun round, and that is awful for the championship contender there. Ryan's in first, Water's in second, and Greek's in last. What's happened to him? He's still doing donuts at turn 2. So now Ryan's taking the lead of the Grand Prix. Greek's down into 9th. So if things stay the way they are, Ryan's going to win the championship.
That's if they stay where they are. So let's have a look at some onboard. So we'll start off with the pulse of the Greek Master. And you see, not the greatest of starts for him. You can see Warden going around the outside there, and there's a little bit of contact there, and he actually gets on the power there. That might explain why both the Williams cars were in the pit lane. So they actually came into contact there. So that's really a disaster, especially for Greek, because this may lose him the championship. Let's have a look on board with Ryan for the start here as he goes up the inside there. And the door is sort of left ajar there a little bit for Ryan to go up the inside there. And I don't blame him for having to go up there, but there might have been a little bit of a tag there. I'm not sure. But let's have a look at this side by side on here. I had to slow it down as best I can. So you see, he's sort of up the inside there, but this is actually at the stewards at the moment, I think, for this incident. And you sort of understand Ryan's point of view from where he said, because he said, why did Greek get on the power when the car was spinning around? And I probably could understand that one, especially because look at that. He's just literally, yeah, he probably could have saved the car coming out of that corner, but yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one. As we're on board now with Neon Trito. That was obviously his view from the race start. So again, he was the other car on the other side that managed to avoid the spinning car of Greek Master. So thankfully he's now up into P4, and he'll have pretty decent pace as well for this race. Let's have a look. Back we go to DLG Gamble, who's pretty much starting dead last on this grid. So heading down obviously into turn 1 again. You'll see all this chaos that's going to go happen here, and somehow Gamble, I don't know how on earth he didn't get caught up in that drama there and didn't lose any front wing. Same probably could be said for Alan Hugo. So he's now letting Gamble go through here. I wonder if he actually got an illegal overtake there. I'm not really sure there, but you can see why Fens was really struggling there coming up through turn 6. So he's definitely got the front wing damage. Pretty much just what do you say there? It's just he just basically got no other choice really. You just have to hit the car there, unfortunately. So that was me obviously spinning off to the right hand side there, but kind of a bit further on now to lap 4. This is Gamble a bit under attacking now from Alan Hugo. This is for where are we? Position 5 and 6. So these guys obviously made up a couple of spots here, and obviously with my spin and the two Williams boys obviously in the pits, these guys are taking full advantage of this one. Of course, they are on the soft tyres, so they can go longer in this race, but I mean it's pretty even between super softs and softs around this track, so
back by about 3/10 a lap.
It'll be interesting to see how long these tyres can go. The soft tyres especially is, again, lap 6 I think this is, and Gamble's now got off the road and he's actually clouded the wall and also got front wing, well he's got actually front wing damage compared to me, with thankfully I avoided front wing damage, but that was a bonus for me here because obviously I didn't notice at the time. I saw the yellow flag there and I thought something's happened up here. So obviously DLG Gamble I can see now a bit more clearer a bit further up the road here. But I was just pretty much trying to catch up to him as quickly as I can and get past him, because obviously I am doing a little bit of tyre conserving here on lap 6, because obviously if you saw the SRL race you would know that the super soft tyres can go about 13 odd laps at best if you don't burn them up too early. So you see we now jump aboard to lap 7 here. We're actually going to jump on a split screen here, both myself and Gamble here, so you can see trying to get a good run here, and we do get a good run. We do get the DRS, and we should make this move pretty simple here. And yeah, Gamble, don't think he's really got much straight line speed with the front wing damage, because it does affect your straight line speed. It does losing a tiny. It doesn't matter how much of a front wing you lose, you can easily lose performance, especially like if you're down the straights, especially into the corners. You actually get a change of strategy there for some unknown reason. As we also get a warning for that one as well. We'll cut now to lap 8. You'll be able to see that H-Show's actually come into the pits. So he's on the, I think he was on the, so he started on super soft tyres, but he's gone to the soft. So that would assume he's trying to 2-stop around this joint, I would assume. That you can see now, lap 9, H-Show's really caught up to the back of DLG Gamble there, and we've actually pulled away quite massively here. So you can see Gamble under attack here from, it doesn't really hold up H-Show at all really. So it puts him back now into position 7, and obviously both the Williams boys are still trying to catch up. Update.
The car ahead is 6.7 seconds. You're losing around 3/10 a lap. They're on old softs. Their tyres are 9 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:11.1.
So at the moment, that was obviously the update on Alan Hugo, but obviously as we come now onto lap 11, well, we did have 0 penalties, I think, at that stage, but now we have 1 time penalty for this race, so that's definitely not going to bode well for later in this race. And obviously Brazil is quite known for a corner cutting track, as you'll see now. Warden's actually in the pits now on lap 12. So I think he's gone on to the set of medium tyres, I think. So it's nearly about time to nearly get off these tyres. I would think, because obviously H-Show's really starting to close in here. As we come now towards turn 4 here. Thinks about it going up the inside here into turn 4, but no can do here. And obviously, still trying to conserve these tyres to get them as long as I can, really. And I can't remember exactly whether I was going to follow anyone here, but you can see how wide it ran just up the hill here in turn 6 and 7, but just managing to hang on for the time being in front of H-Show, but probably won't be too long here. I was hoping to keep H-Show behind for as long as possible here, until mainly if I come into the pit lane, or whether he gets past me on the front straight. But you can probably see that red dot there. That's actually New Zealand Ryan that's coming to the pit, as we have a little bit of oversteam over there, go way wide there, and so decided best to let H-Show go through there, obviously. So I think we had to change the strategy again, so I'm pretty much going to stick with that one. So I did think about coming in for pitting at the end of the lap, but I decided to stay out for this one for 1 extra lap, because this is pretty much what I did in SRL, when as long as I, well, pretty much followed Ryan, obviously, on lap 13, I think it was, but obviously he's coming in 1 lap earlier than than SRL. So now we're obviously just going to push on and just try and stick behind and get HO slipstream as best we can. But you saw then Neon Tridome has actually come into the pit lane as well. So Ryan is obviously in and out, so he's doing the one stop as well onto the mediums. What's Neon going to do? Super softs onto the mediums. He's doing the one stop as well. Nice job from the Red Bull boys. So we'll come back now onto the racing track now. This was, I think, while Neon was in the pit. So Warden actually gets by Gamble here and gets up into position 5, I'm going to say. I think it is P5. You'll probably be able to see it on your screen. It's probably a bit
Okay, the data is showing the tyres are close to dropping off. If the degradation is too much, consider pitting.
Yeah, obviously Jeff just giving me a bit of a warning here on obviously the tyre wear. And I was starting to feel a little bit
this lap.
worn for tyre, so I thought it was best off to just pretty much pit this lap and get onto the set of the medium tyres. So here we come for pretty much our one and only stop here, and just managing to get it slowed down here because it's quite quick getting into the pit lane. You saw how worn the tyres were. They were literally right in nearly the red zone there a little bit, but not quite all the way near in the puncture territory, which is a bonus. So onto the mediums we go.
Complete, go now.
Nice stop from the Haas boys as we come out. Where we're going to come out here, it'll be interesting here. I was hoping to actually get out ahead just ahead of Greg because we had a little bit sideways coming out of the pits. And recollections of back in season 2, especially, was more when we're coming out of the exit of the pit lane. But yeah, we just managed to stay ahead of Greek Master here. So obviously Greek's on the set of soft tyres, so I'd assume he's going to come in again for another set of tyres. Not sure exactly which way he's going to go here, but goal here is just trying to obviously get the tyres up in temperature as quickly as I can, and obviously try and get away from Greek as quickly as possible here. We run very wide there, so I was literally just pushing on, even on, well, you could say one lap old tyres there. You can tell I'm just really pushing on as best I can there, as that was probably a silly error there from myself, so I ran just a tiny bit wide there, as probably saw Gamble come into the pits as he gets a 5-second stop-go penalty just over the speed limit, I'm afraid, for Gamble. So now he's going to make his one and only pit stop, I would assume. Yes, and he's going to get that front wing change, so I wouldn't be surprised about that one at all. So this was obviously happening while obviously I went past and Greg went past, so
Go.
it's obviously going to put Gamble back into last position, but he does have a new front wing, so that's definitely going to help his course. As this is Neon just pulling aside and let Fens go by.
Okay, the gap behind is 1.7 seconds. They're on old softs. Their tyres are 14 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:10.6.
Yeah, and obviously Greg's still got pretty good pace on those soft tyres, but again, he did mention there he's been on those 14 laps, so obviously he came in on lap 2 and put those tyres on. I was expecting maybe him to go onto the mediums and then maybe go into a quicker set of maybe softs or super softs a bit later on, but we're kind of a bit further up the field now, so you see Neon Tridome's under a bit of attack here from the other Red Bull stable here, the Toro Rossos of Alan Hugo, who's putting a lot of pressure on him here. This is actually, I did mention it earlier, this is actually Alan Hugo's first race in AOR. Obviously, he has raced in other leagues, mainly SRL, so that's where I know him from obviously previous experience here. But on we go now to lap 18. We set a personal best lap time in that process. And I think actually Greg's actually come into the pits. Yes, he has, so that's definitely broken the cycle there, so I think Greg was trying his absolute all to try and get by me as quick as he could, but it was all to no avail, unfortunately, there. So here comes Alan Hugo up the inside here into turn 1. Neon leaves his space, but does squeeze him out and actually gets the 3-second time penalty for that. So you can see he's obviously getting updated on the updates behind for Alan Hugo. So he's covering the inside line here going into turn 4. Just manages to hold him off for the time being. But if he gets a good drive out of here, there's Alan Hugo. He probably might have a look here around here, maybe up the inside. No, not quite close enough there. So Neon just manages to hang on again for the time being.
Our gap behind is 14.3 seconds. They're on fresh mediums. Their tyres are 3 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 12.1. They have a time penalty of 3.0.
So obviously Gamble's a bit further behind here, and Yeah, for some unknown reason, I think he's dropped off the pace again. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on with that gamble, but it's definitely not been a great race for him for some unknown reason, or whether he just can't get the medium tyres to work here. But we're back, we go in front here. This is on lap 20 now. And this battle's literally still going for position 5 and 6 in the race. It probably will be a bit further up once. Maybe, I doubt whether Fens could get to the end of the race on this set of medium tyres, obviously, considering he pitted on lap 1, but you never know. If you look back to what HO did in SRL, he tried it, I think, but it didn't really work out, so he went on a quicker set of rubber a bit later on in the race. Lap 22 now, and again, Neon is just under so much attack, so he's probably doing the full sweat here at the moment, just trying to hold off Alan Hugo, and he's had pretty much some decent practice, I would say, leading into this one. So as Greek, as you saw there, set the fast lap of the race. So I definitely assume he's gone on to another set of soft tyres. So again, into turn 1 on lap 23, covering the inside line there into turn 1. Probably a bit risky trying to go the long way around into turn 1, but it's not impossible, let's just say the least. But let's see if he gets a good run here. Should have DRS, as he's going to follow Neon here on the inside line. He's going to maybe try to do the long way around here. Getting quite to it. He's nearly done it, but I don't think he's quite got enough in the end. There does Alan Hugo. Neon just manages to hang on for the time being. As we begin our lap 23, you see that Fens actually come into the pit lane. So like I said, I probably knew that the medium tyres weren't going to get to the end. It was probably a bit risky there, but he's onto a set of soft tyres. So I'm going to get an update on him as quickly as possible.
They've entered the pit lane. They're on fresh softs. Heat time last lap was a 1:14.8. They have a time penalty of 3.0.
So he's obviously got one time penalty. I think from memory I've only got like 2 or something from memory. But anyway, this is a bit further back in the field. So Creek is now putting pressure on DLG Gamble going around the long way here. You can see how much the tyres were locking up through there. Wouldn't be surprised the brakes are really hot in that car. But Greek does get the move done on Gamble here. But Gamble won't give up without a bit of a fight here as Greek covers the inside line here to turn 4. And I think he's got the position now. Yes, he does. So that put Greek back up into P8. So whether he can gain any more points a bit further up the road is anyone's guess, really, because Ryan is still, I think, leading this race. So at the moment, if it stayed where it is in 1st and 8th, Ryan would be crowned champion-elect for Season 3. So it's all looking good at the moment for Ryan, as Alan Hugo again tries to go around the long way on lap 24. Again, very, very risky around there as he runs very wide there. And I think he nearly actually bottles it coming out of the turn 6 there. That nearly could have ended in catastrophe for him there for Alan Hugo. As you can see there, Fens setting fast laps at the moment at 1:09.3, so we get another time penalty.
We've been awarded a time penalty. We'll go against our finishing time.
That's actually our second time penalty of the race, so that confirms how many penalties I've got for this race. But now lap 26, and again, Fens is really showing the pace that he's got with another 1:09.2 this time around. So he's really starting to close this gap here, and I was really just trying to hope for glory, and hopefully I could battle him to the end of the race and maybe get a decent, obviously, result. We're currently, obviously, in P6. Probably best if Fens get by, it'd probably have to settle for position 7 here. So going to make him work hard for it here as we begin lap 27. Actually set a personal best, and Fens sets another fast lap. So we cover the inside line. We go a little bit deep into turn 1 there. So he tries to go around the long way here, but we have to definitely cover the inside line here. Coming on to this back straight here as we come down the pit lane, and we're out.
That looked bad. Are you all right? Let me know you're all right.
Wow, and I was just in complete and utter shock when that happened. Let's look at a replay.
Out, but Fens 2 tenths behind Wasco Arm here on the soft competitor. That's another fastest lap coming this way for Fens, as Wasco Arm has been put under pressure from the Williams driver. He's going to go a little bit wide on Fens. Is going to take the outside line on the Haas driver. No, he's going to take the inside line. Even has contact, and that's put Wasco Arm in the wall. He's out of the Grand Prix, and that is no idea whose fault was that. If that's is that a safety car? No, it's not a safety car. If that was a safety car, that could have absolutely changed things around for this race. But that's dropped. That's actually moved Greek up into 7th, and that was a huge crash there on board with Gamble. Oh my god, he's in the middle of the track is the hash driver. So in real life, that would have definitely been a safety car there, but geez, that was definitely a moment there for Moscow. I'm not sure who was at fault there. I saw V-Fens trying to go to the outside, then take the inside line, and then I think it was too late before those two made contact. But like I said, could be completely different on my point of view. But yeah, Moscow out of the Grand Prix, and he wasn't even doing that bad, was Moscow. I think he was in position 5, or no, position 6 even. So yeah, unfortunate for him.
Yeah, I was literally furious, and you'll understand why here when you look at the replay on board with V-Fence. If you see, obviously, like I mentioned, I was covering the inside line here, but you look at this, there's not even enough room for 2 cars, for goodness sake. Utter impatience from V-Fence, utter impatience. And yeah, I mean, Fens did apologise for that one afterwards, and yeah, I let him know, trust me, I let him know how furious I was with that one, because, I mean, yes, he could have at least waited until later on in the lap, maybe up into turn 4 here as we were watching the rest of this race from the spectator footage, obviously. But yeah, that is just utter dumb driving, honestly. I mean, yeah, like I mentioned, just impatience, really. So, but anyway, that's our race done, and I think we'll wait and see anyway what it does for championship-wise anyway. But you saw then HO was in position 3, has actually let both his teammate and Alan Hugo go by, and I was a bit puzzled actually why as he let them go by. So because he's actually on the much fresher rubber compared to these two ahead. So I would have thought HO would have maybe pushed on a little bit further on, because this is literally the battle for the podium here. So as the two New Zealand Ryan is definitely comfortably leading the way, and Warden's pretty much on his own as well. So there you go. Like I said, so HO just pulls aside to the left-hand side for some, but just whether that was just a plan or something, I don't really know. So, but anyway, we'll find out. That was what was going on there. But whether HO felt he didn't have pace later on in the race, I don't really know. But anyway, Damble's now coming to the pits, so obviously he's given up this race anyway. So I think he's now just going to go for the fastest lap of the race. And I think he's actually gone a lap down compared to where you see the red dot of New Zealand Ryan obviously going by. But this was literally, we see now in the final few laps around here, this was literally a hectic battle. This is pretty much the only battle that was going on track, as Neon again coming under attack from Alan Hugo, and HO probably had a perfect bird's eye view of this one as he loses the back end coming out of turn 2 and the turn 2, turn 3 area there. So that's really lost him ground there. So the guys in front, you'll be able to see what's going on. There's Greek a bit further behind there, and I think he's slowly starting to catch up there to the back of his teammate, and these two are still battling away. But Neon again just manages to hang on. It's pretty good driving from these guys all around. So can't really complain. But now these guys set off a lap 34. Now HO is putting a little bit of pressure here on Alan Hugo for maybe position 4. So this will be a decent result for maybe both the Red Bull boys. If HO can maybe get a move around the outside. No, can't do anything at the moment. But he may try and look up the inside here. He will have the DRS, but yeah, Alan Hugo actually does have the DRS as well, thanks to Neon. So HO has to pull back behind and slot back into position 5. But look at him, he's just really pushing him all the way through. Yes, there's probably a little bit of lag on my end, but yeah, these guys were literally pushing it all the way. And obviously these guys were losing ground to the guys behind as well. You can probably see it from the timing. Greek's slowly starting to close in on Fens. I think his tyres are literally maybe starting to die off later into the race. But it's both having a moment there for both Alan Hugo and HO there. So that's actually really lost, especially Alan Hugo, because he's lost ground massively to Neon in front. So this rate, Neon may just hang on for a podium here at the current moment. We'll wait and see as we begin now on the final lap now, as I missed actually Ryan crossing the line to win the Brazilian Grand Prix, and for what I think it is, if I think where Greek is in P7, I think that's enough for Ryan to claim the championship for season number 3. So we'll get it confirmed a bit later on in the results. But there you go. Warden finishes up in position 2. Of course, it had been under a cloud, obviously, because obviously that incident was taken to the stewards, and I'll probably let you guys and girls know what went on afterwards. Anyway, that one. But I think actually, oh no, Alan Hugo's going to get on the final spot on the podium. So on his debut race, gets up into P3, and I think both the Williams boys trying to do a form finish across the line to end off this race. So there you go. That was certainly an entertaining race. Probably not for me, on my perspective, but anyway, for the others, it was certainly a damn good race. So well done to these guys. New Zealand Ryan again dominant ahead of Warden and Alan Hugo, obviously on the podium for his first ever race in AOR. So really great effort for him all round. And you know, Alan Hugo's obviously had the pace in some of the most races, especially battling away with Ryan in other leagues. So they're certainly going to be interesting wise for maybe going into next season as well. So there you go. There's the final results. So Ryan, Warden, Alan Hugo go 1, 2, and 3. Neon finishes in 4th. Greek actually comes home in P5, but I don't think it's quite enough for the championship wise. Well, like I said, we'll get the results table up in a second. You got HO back in P6. Fens finishing up in P7. Then you got DLG Gamble, and then you've got myself, the only DNF out of that whole race. And actually, when you look at it, Ryan, Alan, Hugo, and Greek are the only ones without a single penalty. Everybody else has got penalties this whole race, which is a phenomenal effort all round from those guys. So, yeah, great effort all round as we just let the timer count down here for the time being. But we'll get the championship standings up right about now. So at this stage, Ryan has definitely wrapped up the championship, barring any like I said, the stewards' inquiry that is going on between he and Greek, obviously, but it could play a factor, but it could not. You never know. So at this stage, like I said, Ryan is the champion, 29 points over Greek. So Greek cannot be, Ryan cannot be caught. Even in the last race in Abu Dhabi, we're still 25 points up for grabs. It's still a long shot. Jared is pretty much wrapped up P3, even though he didn't race in this one. Fens obviously wraps up 4th, and Aisha, I think, wraps up P5. Battle for 6 is still on, I think, and I'm not sure. Battle for P8, we may be still on there between myself and Master, but the DNF doesn't really help that cause. But constructors-wise, obviously, you know all about that by now. Williams, obviously, the constructors champions, 94 points. Obviously, Ferrari will wrap up 2nd in the championship as well. Obviously, Mercedes should wrap up 3rd in the championship, and I think Red Bull probably, well, surely they've done enough to wrap up P4. I think Force India may finish up in P5, but obviously with my DNF and Laggy not being here as well, and obviously Gamble scoring a couple of points, doesn't really help our cause in the Constructors' Championship. So, I mean, we really need to outscore Gamble in the final race. If Laggy turns up for the final race, that is. We'll wait and see. But we really need to outscore Gamble by a hell of a lot of points to get 6th in the championship. So we may have to settle for P7 in the constructors. We'll wait and see. But obviously, Sauber, Toro Rosso, and Renault round out the grid. So that was certainly an entertaining race. Probably not great for me, but anyway, hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give it a big smash on that like button. As always, leave your comments down below. Subscribe to my channel for plenty more AOR Oceania content on F1 2018, plus plenty more video gaming content as well. All my social media links will be down in the description. Plus, you can check out the links for the AOR website and the YouTube channel. Remember, the races are live streamed every Sunday night at 8 p.m. But until the next time out, which will be the finale at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, I think most of us will be just pretty much just having a bit of fun here and just finishing off the season in style. Hopefully, maybe we could get P8 in the championship, but it's probably a long shot. We may just settle to wrap up P9. But until then, it is goodbye, and I'll see you all next time.